the light becomes foreign to you. How do you refrain from self-sabotaging the mountain when you're so accustomed to the valley? I saved that one for last because it was so juicy. That was a good old juicy question right there. That was a good old juicy question right there. And it's so good that it sets in context where I'm going today, because it really embraces this notion. So she says, sometimes you become so accustomed to the dark place that the light becomes foreign to you. How do you refrain from self-sabotaging the mountain? I cannot tell you how many people self-sabotage their success. Totally just self-sabotage because they are familiar with the valley, and the valley becomes your world, and you become so engulfed by it that even though you are thinking better, you're not living better. Jesus didn't say, I come that you might have thoughts more abundantly. He said, I come that you might have life, and have that life more abundantly. Transformational thinking is not enough if it doesn't translate into transformational living. And what has to happen is, when you become so accustomed to the valley and the dark places, you have to get what is in your heart to manifest in your life, and understand that right feels wrong when you're not used to it. Right feels wrong when you're not used to it. Good feels bad when you're not used to it. Better feels uncomfortable when you're not used to it. Understand then that when you're not accustomed to being loved and somebody comes in to love you, you beat them up. You make it hard. There's something wrong with them. I don't know, he's nice, but he... Oh, I don't want that house. Oh, it's a really nice house, but it just doesn't feel like home. Because you define home by what's familiar. You'll pick a fight. You'll do things subconsciously to make people stop loving you because you don't feel worthy of love. Self-sabotaging goes back to self-perception and how you see yourself. And until you see yourself as better, right doesn't feel right. Good doesn't feel good. Better doesn't feel better because it's not familiar. Isn't it odd that you can have somebody who has been married 3 times and always ended up in domestic violence? Sometimes you are attracted to the very thing you say you don't want. It's not coming from him, babe. It's coming from you. Everybody who would treat you good, you wasn't attracted to. And you're drawn to this because it has defined you. You like to talk about the mountain, but your point of reference is the valley. And whenever anybody treats you like that way, it is familiar. And one of the hardest things in the world to do is to bring yourself to the point that you become comfortable with what God has for you rather than where you came from. Right doesn't always feel right. Good doesn't always feel good. Better doesn't always feel better when you're familiar with worse.